We thank God for giving us the chance today, Wednesday, June 10, 2020, in which we can gather in international webinar entitled COVID-19 Challenges and Strategies for Enhancing Digital Literacy and Creativity in Higher Education. Ladies and gentlemen, let us commence by saying Basmalah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I would like to start our international webinar today by listening national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to the national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Our next national anthem is the national anthem of the national anthem of India.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Please listen to national anthem of Morocco. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening the national anthem of Morocco. Dear participants, our next agenda is opening remarks delivered by our rector of Universitas Pancasakti Tegal. It is a pleasure to invite Prof. Fahrudin to give his.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We honorable all speaker of international webinar, Mr. Rahul Pandari from India, Mr. Joseph Bakil from Morocco, Mr. Taufikullah and Mrs. Din Novi from Universitas Pancasakti Tegal.
Hello, Pak Rektor. Yeah.
And all the participants. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to International Webinar COVID-19.
Kedengeran, Pak Rektor?
Trouble lagi ya.
Yeah, trouble, Pak Rektor, please.
Okay.
Would you please start from the beginning, please?
Okay.
It's okay.
It's my great pleasure to welcome you to International Webinar COVID-19 Challenge and Strategies for Enhancing Digital Literacy and Creativity in Higher Education held by Universitas Pancasakti Tegal. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, education has been particularly hit by COVID-19 pandemic, with more than 55 million students are now learning at home. The coronavirus pandemic has forced educators and students into education experiment in which they need to find the best way to teach and interact with the student from afar. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in different situations and the normal rule of play. But I believe that in managing this crisis, we also have an opportunity to make it better. Finally, I hope this webinar can be useful for us as lecture and also for the student to share information about country effort to maintain the provision of education in different contexts. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you very much, Prof. Fahrudin, for your opening remark today. Dear participants, it is an honor to me to introduce our guest speakers at our main table. The first speaker is the Honorable Rahul Bandari from India. Rahul, could you say hello, Rahul?
Yeah, hello everyone. A very good morning.
Yeah. He is the Director of International Relation and Outreach, SPACS United Kingdom, and also he is the Director of International Affairs of Tegal Global University, India. He was the Manager of International Relations, University of Southampton, United Kingdom, and also he was the Manager of Student Support, Al-Khawarizmi, International University, Abu Dhabi. And the last positions, he was Head of Corporate Relations, SDGI Group of Institutions, India. It is an honor to welcome you here.
Thank you, Professor Yoga.
Thank you, Professor Rahul.
Would you like me to start? How you wish to?
No, I would like to introduce all the speakers first.
Okay.
Our next speaker, our second speaker is the Honorable Yosef Bakil. He is from Hassan First University in Morocco. He is the researcher in public law and political science in Faculty of Law. He is also the member of Laboratory of Research and Comparative Democratic Transitions. He is the member of the Observatory of Research and Participatory Democracy and Civil Society. He is the legal advisor in Clinic Juridique, and he is the General Secretary of Center of Research and Studies on Migrations and Human Rights. And the last position is he is the National Coordinator of Students for Liberty. This is an international organization created in the United States and have departments in all world countries. Joseph, you may say hello, Professor Joseph.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Our next speaker will be Dr. Taufikullah. He is the Doctor in Language Education from Semarang State University and also the lecturer and researcher in ELT. He is a guest lecturer at Hatia University, Thailand, presenter, speakers at seminars, conferences, and on language teaching, National Research Reviewer of the Minister of Education and Culture, Secretary and International Collaborations Officer, Indonesian Experts and Lecturer Associations, ADRI, Central Java, Indonesia, visiting scholar at Ohio State University, sponsored by the Ministry of Higher Education and Technology, the organizing committee of Pancasakti Education Foundations for Universitas Pancasakti Tegal. And the last speaker is the Honorable Dr. D. Noviani. Dr. D, are you going to say hello first? Okay. She is the bachelor degree in accounting at Diponegoro University, master program in management Gajah Mada University, doctoral degree in accounting Tegal University, dean of economics and business faculty, treasurer in Indonesian Accountants Association, member of IPAPI, and I say E. Overseas guest lecturer in Raja Mandala University, Bangkok. And team of City Budget Reviewer, Election Supervisory Agency Selection Team, Central Java, Study Team for Napolitan Land Development, Reviewer Team of Election of Village Heads Purpose, Team Center of Excellence Fraud Control Plan based on Risk Management Universitas Pajajaran, and PKP West Java, speakers and presenters at national and international conferences in Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia, author of SMAA Financial Management and Fraud Auditing books. Dr. Taufik, could you say hello? I forgot to Dr. Taufik. Say hello. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see. Dr. Taufik. Dr. Taufik, please turn on your. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Thanks very much for attending our webinar. And it's nice meeting you all. Thank you very much. Enjoy the webinar. Thank you.
Dr. D, would you like to say something?
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. My name is Dino Viani, and nice to meet you all.
Thank you very much for the introduction. And our next agenda is, it is an honor to invite our first speaker, the Honorable Rahul Bandari from Global Challanges University. Please do. You have a 10 to 15 minutes presentations.
Okay, Professor Yoga, will you allow me to share my screen because I have done some changes?
Oh, I see. Yeah, please. You have done some changes?
Yeah, I want you to give me permission to share my screen.
Yeah, sure. Please do. Share my screen.
No, you have disabled me actually. I cannot share.
Wait. This one? Yeah. Wait a moment. You want to host yourself?
Yeah, you make me host. Let me share. Just hold on.
Okay.
Okay, is it visible? My screen is visible to all of you?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, a very, what you said, Salamat Pagi to everyone. Very good morning to all of you, to all my fellow speakers. Really nice to meet you, Professor Yusuf, and other fellow speakers. As the topic of today is digital literacy, so I put my small bunny rabbit to say good morning to all of you, to just give you a humor on that. Okay, I'm sure that you all people are safe, healthy during this COVID pandemic time. I'll pray to the God for your safety and your loved one's safety during this time. It's really an honor to be a part of this webinar today, and I really thanks to Professor Yoga, the head of international relations, who invite me and give me an opportunity to share my thoughts on the topic of challenges and strategy for enhancing digital literacy in higher education. Although you already know about me, but I would like to give a couple of lines about me. So as a speaker, my name is Rahul. I'm director in international relations SPECS. SPECS is basically an educational consultant working from UK to bring quality in higher education. Parallelly, I am also holding a position of international relation in OP Jindal Global University. It is one of the top universities in India. I have overall 15 plus years of experience in different ASEAN countries, including Europe, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. Majorly, I work in the area of internationalization in university, international accreditation, and other important part of bringing the quality in higher education. I would like to start my presentation with a small note which is said by the Nobel Prize winner in literature. He's an Irish writer, political activist. He's a George Bernard Shaw. He said, I think, these lines in 1924. I mean, it's a very meaningful life. It's a very meaningful lines which he said, like, if you wanted to see the progress in your life or in your career, you first need to change your mind to accept that changes. So with this note, I'll start today's topic, which is challenges and strategies to enhance digital literacy and creativity in higher education. During my presentation, I would like to give you a short view about what literacies mean, how many type of literacy generally we have in higher education, what do you mean by digital literacy, what are the models are available of digital literacy, what are the challenges and strategies are faced by higher education, and why it is important for university and student to understand digital literacy in 2020. I bring a landscape of literacy. Literacy is basically a combination of a lot of different kind of circle. Like you can see, there is an academic literacy, digital literacy, disciplinary literacy, and adult and professional literacy. When you include all the critical point of all the circle, you will find in the center, there's an information literacy, which includes all the important and essential point of literacy. I'm sure you people are all aware about these circles, but just to give you a quick view, what does it means? Academic literacy, basically what we people are doing in university. We are inviting students in the class, teaching them whole class, giving them assignment, checking their assignment and giving them marks. So we are generating basically literature knowledge. We are telling them how to write an academic things, how to critically read the books and all, and how they can jointly work on collaborative learning. If you go to disciplinary literacy, it is slightly a different part where the student understands the difference between different disciplines. So if a student is studying in law program, he should understand that how law discipline is different from business discipline. So that literacy, when the student develops, we call it that he is in a disciplinary literacy. Digital literacy, which is the topic, it's very easy to understand. It includes all the digital platforms, which may be mobile, laptop, internet, bandwidth, anything, to understand the student that how the information is flow. And the another is adult and professional literacy. When the student who are studying in law have an in-depth knowledge about what he is learning and how this learning is going to help them to get a job or a better human being in the future. So that is actually an adult and professional literacy, which is the highest form for me when the student evaluate their learnings. So at present, in all over the world, we call it information literacy, where you can see we have an interaction of all the circles and we pick up the important point of these circles. Now move on to the topic, which is digital literacy. So first we need to understand what is digital literacy means. In simple word, we can say that digital literacy means an ability of any person, students, to use effectively and critically the different technology platforms. And at the same time, they can understand the difference that what are right and wrong while they are using that platform. I'll give you an example. Like a student understand how to use web browser, how to search anything in the search engine, how to write an email, how to text in a mobile, how to write a blogs, how to make a presentation, how to do video editing and all. And but on the same time, he should also understand while he is using technology, digital technology, which technology is good for him and which technology is bad. In general, all over the world, so far my knowledge, there are only three models available, which you call it universal literacy model, creativity literacy model, and literacy across discipline. Universal literacy model is a basic model when the student understand the basic tool of technology, that how to use software, how to change the image, how to download the image and all those things. Creative literacy, when student understand that apart from downloading and going on search engine, how this information they can use while they are a student. So for example, I use PowerPoint, put information from different source of internet and make them in a knowledgeable form in the presentation. So I know how to utilize this information and club together to make up your proper presentation. Literacy across discipline is like same when the student actually understand that the technology which is available for their specific domain. If they are a law student, they knows that which technology is good for law discipline or law faculty. If they are a business student, they knows that which technology they should use for their learning outcomes. It's very easy to understand that how digital literacy is basically used in university. University use digital literacy to deliver digital learnings for their students. So far in the world, there are four ways people are doing the digital learning, which is adaptive learning, blended learning, online learning, and mobile learning. Again, it's a very basic. All people, you know that what does it mean, but to give an overview, I'll again give you a short what it is. So in the left-hand side, you can see the traditional learning, and in the right-hand side, you see the adaptive learning. So far, in every university, most of the university in developing country, we use traditional approach. We invite student, 50 students, 100 students in a class. We teach them, give them an assignment. They complete it, we give them a marks. So that is a traditional way. Adaptive learning is basically when we use the technology, when we use the software and computer, and we customize the program according to the requirement of the student. So it is like when you go to the restaurant owner give you a menu and ask you, okay, what do you want to eat? So you can choose anyone from that list and say, okay, today I want to have chicken, or today I want to have only soup. Similarly, you customize a program for your student. They can choose what they want to learn. And then on the basis or the help of the technology and the computer, the student have a customized program which you can evaluate. It is a very universal accepted and very effective way to go for the learnings. Second is blended. A lot of people are doing in the country. Blended is nothing. It's a freedom to a student that in a faculty, in a course, he or she can attend 30% online of the course and 70% he can go to the class and talk to the professor. So it is a mixture of online and face-to-face teaching. Third one, online education. Nobody needs to give a clarification on that how it works. The student don't need to go at all in the university or class, and they can opt a degree. But there are certain pros and cons which we need to understand while we are opening an online education in our university. Mobile learning is similar like online learning. The students start learning by mobile, tablet, and other form of gadgets. They don't need to go to the class and sit for 3 hours. They can take the class wherever they are. Let's go to the main important part, that is the challenges and issues faced by the higher education. So, I'm not talking about here the university. I'm not talking about the higher education. I'm talking about the complete. Sorry, I'm talking about the higher education. I'm not talking about the university. The biggest challenge is the digital divide. I mean, you can see the left-hand side picture. The economy and the financial support of the country make a gap between the rich and poor. A rich person can utilize the technology because he can pay for that. But a poor guy who is not having money, they struggle with the technology, which creates a gap between two community, rich and poor. So this is the one of the biggest challenge while we are talking about digital literacy or digital transformation in higher education or in a country. Second, infrastructure, of course. To have a digital transformation in country, you should have a perfect and up-to-date infrastructure available. I give an example, like all people are using Zoom. Zoom is basically a US-based company where office is in China, and the technology is used by Indonesia, Vietnam, and other countries. Look at the example. India is the second largest country in Asia, very well known for IT services around the world, but still India is not able to develop infrastructure or a software for video conferencing. We are totally rely on US and other countries. So it shows an example that although you are a big country, but still the infrastructure requirement is different for that. The third is the bandwidth, internet bandwidth. It's not about you have internet. There are students who are studying in Jakarta. They have a very good connectivity. They have internet on very less price. And there are students who are staying in maybe Samarang or maybe in Papua. They have a very poor connectivity, very slow speed, and they have to pay a lot of more money as compared to Jakarta student. So that difference is also a part of challenge while we are implementing the digital literacy in any country or especially in higher education. So what is the challenge for universities? The biggest challenge, of course, university need to understand that how they can include every member of the university to support university to transform and to include digital literacy. It is not like a one department or one person opt digital literacy in their department and other people are not using. So that is one of the biggest challenge for university. The second challenge, the university need to understand how much resources they can allocate for the digital transformation, because the digital literacy is a step-by-step process and it's a long process. The the university need to understand how much budget is needed to change their teaching or change their university from traditional to a digital platform. Another thing, which is, I mean, the university need to understand that the digital transformation, they need to add it in their mission plan. They be very serious and they you know, and they need to understand, they are struggling that if they are implementing the digital transformation in their university, how they are going to check whether they are able to achieve it or not. There are certain strategies which I can recommend for the university who wants to be changed from traditional to digital. First, they need to encourage all the people like the owner of the university, the rectors, the teachers, the non-teaching staff, administrative staff, student, and especially the parents, and make them understand that they should start using the technology while they are in use. Okay, and the second important part, it is not only... Okay. I wanted to highlight that it is very much important that you should not only buy or design a program, you should have a customized program for your teachers according to the requirement of their faculty and learning outcomes. You need to create an adequate infrastructure. You can take an help of expert, similarly like specs, I'm giving you an example, who can help you to design an infrastructure in your university, which helps you to be in a good digital transformation kind of university. Another important thing, you need to start helping student to lose the gap of digital, because every student have a different knowledge and different understanding about the technology. So we need to support them to according to their age and according to their understanding or social economic status. One of the important thing, we need to add at least 30% online content in our program. Like if you are teaching, suppose a law program, make sure that the 30% of law program is in online mode. It can be through a video lecture, it can be through quiz-based assignments, and it can be anyone, whatever your programs helps you. And latest, you should start using artificial intelligence concept in your university, you should use AI in your even though in the teaching methodology and in your course curriculum. This is generally the world do when they want to transform from traditional to online learning. You can see that they can do teacher training, they can create more digital curriculums, they use tablets, ebooks, flipped classrooms, online collaborative solution. So you can choose anyone which you feel you are ready to opt and you have a budget to do that. Okay, it's very important to understand that digital transformation is a need of an hour. You cannot say that I don't want to be digitalized. I am happy to be a traditional university, because the digital transformation will help you to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of your various departments. You also need to understand that all young generation students are using different kind of digital platforms, like they are playing PUBG, they are in Facebook, they are in Instagram. So if the university is not including digital technology in their course curriculum and in the university, the students feel like they are studying in an outdated university, which is not technically strong. And another thing is like, I should agree with you that to have digital transformation in the university, you need finance. But I suggest you should initially focus on specific department rather than complete university. Like, for example, you say, in this year, we are going to do a digital transformation in our admission department or in our examination department. Stay for 1 year, see what you learned from those digital transformation, then move on to another department. And similar like this, you should have a vision of 5 or 6 years to slowly and gradually move from one department to another department. And in a span of 5 years, you can say that we digitalize our complete university. Okay, now the question is why it is important for student, why it is important for university. I bring a report from World Economic Forum 2020. In the right hand side, you see in 2015, these are the quality required by the people or the corporate people while they hire a graduate from the university. But in 2020, when you can see the critical thinking is almost, in the fourth parameter in 2015 is going to be the second parameter in 2020. They add emotional intelligence, which is another form of digital, that how you can emotionally intelligent. Cognitive flexibility, they keep it in 10, even though the cognitive flexibility is not in that 2000. So that means if you want your student can get a job, or if you want your student to go for higher education, the world is changing, the requirement of the universities, the requirement of the corporate is changing. So it is requirement of a university, they also need to change. Okay, now back to what is trending nowadays. We all know Donald Trump. In India, we called him Uncle Sam. He is known for blaming other people for everything. So recently he blamed countries like Austria, Brazil, Czech Republic, India, Indonesia, that these countries are putting digital tax on their companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, and Apple. It is basically a tax which all these countries are putting on these digital companies while they are earning money in their country. So it is a trending and a very interesting topic. I suggest who are interested in digital, they should read these things and you have an idea about it. I would like to end with the quote of Professor Dana Boyd. She is a visiting faculty professor of, I think, New York University. She highlighted an important thing that nowadays the young generation don't go in mall, don't go on street corners and playground to make a friend. They generally use e-meet or a different digital platform for meeting the people. So which gives an idea that the world is changing. People prefer to talk, people prefer to have knowledge sharing through the use of digital transformation rather than going on traditional way. Along with this note, I'm sorry if I take more time. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any query, either you can ask me right now or you can ask me later after this all presentation have been done. Thank you. Makasih.
Terima kasih, Rahul. Thank you very much for a very nice presentation. Excellent. Thank you. So I can conclude a bit about your presentations. That the problems mostly about human resources, infrastructure, financial, Also, your suggestion is the university must include the blended learning 30% at least, so students will be very good in digital literacy. But
Yeah.
digital literacy is not only about knowing how to use the digital or the technological tools, but also now how is good and how is bad. Is that correct? Thank
Yes,
you.
they should know the copyright issues. If they don't know, they are going to be in a big trouble. They should know understand what is the difference between the fake information and how to find a right and correct information from which medium. So that
Okay.
is the which I say that a topper part of digital literacy, which
Yep.
we need to train our students for that.
Yeah, thank you. So students need to read more references to know whether the news is fake or not.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you.
Rahul. Thank you very much, Professor Rahul. Nice presentations. Our next our next presenter, I'm honored to invite Professor Yosef Bakil from
Yes,
First Hassan
yes,
University. Are you there? Hello?
yes, I'm here.
Yeah, you will have 10 minutes,
Yes, I'm
10
here.
to 15 minutes. So please do.
Yes, okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So firstly, I would thank Madam Yoga for your invitation on this international webinar, and I would like to thank too all this organizer of this webinar, as well as all speakers and participants from all countries and all disciplines. I have the honor to be here with you all. So, about my presentation, it's entitled The Moroccan Experience in the Field of E-Learning, Challenges and Strategies. So, as an introduction, the e-learning is a learning system based on formalized teaching, but with the help of electronic resources, is known as e-learning. While teaching can be based in or out of the classrooms to use the computers and the internet forms, the major component of e-learning. So e-learning can also be termed as a network-enabled transfer of skills and knowledge. And the delivery of education, it's made to a large number of recipients at the same or different times. Earlier, it was not accepted wholeheartedly as it was assumed that this system lacked the human element required in learning. However, with the rapid progress in technology and the advancement in learning systems, it is now embraced by the masses. The introduction of computers was the basis of this revolution, and with the passage of time as we get hooked to smartphones, tablets, and other gadgets. This device now have an important place in the classrooms for learning. Books are gradually getting replaced by electronic educational materials, like optical discs or pen drivers. Knowledge can also be shared via the internet, which is accessible 24 hours by 7 days, anywhere and anytime. But what must be pointed out and emphasized for me is that e-learning should be auxiliary and complementary to classical and traditional learning, especially in this auspice the world lives in. So for the chapter 1, we talk about the challenges of e-learning. So for the first challenge, it's the adaptability struggle. So the students face many problems in being able to adapt to e-learning, especially as they are using the classical educational curricula, principles, and rules. It depends on the teachers and books as the main source of information. But today, and especially in the special health situation of COVID-19 in which the world lives, transition to e-learning is also necessary as a solution to saving and sustaining education. So this rapid transition to e-learning and without prior preparation for students and teachers, as well as without providing them with logistical resources, will be one of the biggest challenges facing e-learning, especially since it will take a long time for students to adapt to e-learning. So the second challenge for e-learning is the technical and logistical issues. In light of the e-learning experience that is being imposed in Morocco recently, without a prior logistical preparation due to the global health situation of COVID-19, students and researchers, especially those who do not have the necessary electronic and technical resources like computers and internet to benefit from e-learning face great challenges. So that the electronic and technical equipment, computer, good internet, and other things, is considered one of the necessary means to talk about a successful e-learning here in Morocco, of course. And the big category that suffers from this problem is, of course, the poor students and the students from, especially the students from the countryside and the villages. So the government must find a solution for this category. Also, we shouldn't forget the professors, because there are professors who don't have access to a computer and internet and the logistical and technical things. So the government should encourage professors to conduct scientific research and the hard work by providing them with this logistical resource. So for the third challenge, it's the computer literacy. Another challenge facing the success of e-learning is that students and professors are not use computer science and its various programs and research on internet, as well as repair errors that the computer exposed to. Therefore, the government should do an online workshops for this category. I mean the students and professors in this field of informatics skills to avoid this challenge. The final challenge is the time management. Many students find it very difficult to manage their time on internet. They waste a lot of time on games, videos, and chats, while they don't respect the time spent to learning on computers. Since the same place for e-learning, I mean the computer, it's the same place for gaming and chatting and another thing. It poses a great difficulty in differentiating between gaming time and learning time. This problem was not imposed in the classical learning. So that's all about the challenges. Now we move to the chapter 2 and we talk about the Moroccan strategy for the e-learning in COVID-19 periods. In the world health situation of COVID-19, almost world countries set up or applied the lockdown and the quarantine situation. Morocco too do the same, and its order protect education and ensure its continuity. He implemented several measures and procedures to successfully achieve the e-learning process. These procedures and measures are covered in this chapter. There's 13 steps that we're talking about. The first step is close all public and private schools and universities. For the second steps, it's the starting the e-learning process officially and for the first time in Morocco. The steps number 3 is giving order and instruction on the teachers and professors in order to put electronic lessons in the form of video or audios, and well as in PDF and PPT. The 4 steps: allocating all TVs and radio, deposit, transfer these lessons and lectures. So then those without the internet can benefit from all the lessons and lectures on TV and radio. As for the universities, they put all the lessons, video, audio, or writing lectures in the electronic supports. And for the schools, they also did the same. So the step number 6, it's some teachers and professors, in addition to the above, give direct lectures on social media in Facebook, YouTube, and other social media websites. And they devote time to answer students' questions and inquiries. Step number 7, framing university research electronically as for bachelor, master's, and doctoral studies. The Ministry of Education purchased the membership of many international electronic libraries and provided them free of charge to researchers and students. As for the National Library, it provided an electronic copy service for the books available to them for the benefits of research and students, free of charge, of course. In some poor areas, logistical and technical means were distributed from the government to the students, like internet, computers, tablets, and other gadgets. All telecommunication companies provided free internet for just the education for the benefit of students and researchers. For all schools, all examinations are cancelled without the baccalaureate exam that will take place in July and will be organized in a professional manner that respects all health conditions and will be conducted in sports halls and stadiums. For the university's exam, they were postponed for September at the beginning of the new school years. And about the graduation research discussion were conducted electronically for the bachelor and master's and doctoral studies, of course. That's all about my presentation. And if you have any inquiries or questions, you can ask me and I will answer all of them. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for wonderful presentations, Professor Yosef. And thank you for being awake. So because the times differences, you are, I think it's
Yes,
3 a.m. over
we
there.
have 3 a.m. Yes, we have 3 a.m.
So you stay
Even
awake.
that, I am very happy to be here with you and present our experience
Thank you
of
very
e-learning.
much. It is an honor for me.
Thank you so much.
Mars. Okay, thank you.
Yes, me too, me too. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
So I can conclude that the problem is similar, the same, like the infrastructure also, or every country has the problem between the infrastructure in the in the city or in a suburb. They are totally different. Also about the gap of the knowledge for the generations, also the problem in your country, right?
Yes.
And also
Yes, right.
the strategy of the overcoming the pandemic of the COVID-19 in your country is closely similar to here in Indonesia, such as closing public schools, having online graduations, and also.
Yes, I think the strategies of all countries, it's near to each other because this about Morocco, this is the first time we used e-learning. So because that we choose this strategy, and I think it's good for now.
So after
it saved the education. Yes.
Okay, so when the condition is back to normal, so e-learning will not be used anymore in Morocco.
Yes, this is the first time.
Okay, thank you.
Professor Yuga, can I ask a small question to Professor Yusuf?
Sure.
Professor Yusuf, will you permit me to ask some curiosity questions?
Yes, of course.
Professor Yusuf, I mean, you just told me, you just shared that this is the first time that Morocco is using e-learning platform for the teaching. What kind of
Yes.
support and what kind of problem you are facing from the government side? Will the government is supporting, giving fund to the university or training, or it's the university they need to design and they need to deliver it?
The government give a help for just some place or some students, if we can do that, as supports like videos and audios and PPT and all lectures and you know, and lessons in this supports. But the university is do that. It's do that separately than the government, because we have here university use the e-learning and also the schools use the e-learning for the first time. So it's very complicated in the beginning, but for now, I can just tell it's okay for now. He can save just the education for this years. But for the next years, I am sure they can't use this e-learning for all years.
And how the student experience, like students give a feedback about e-learning, because this is the first time you are using. So what is the student feedback? Are they happy with this platform or they want a traditional way?
We can't know that for now, because we are not in this school year. So
Okay.
we can know that in the next year. The feedback, we can know it just in the next year, not for now.
Okay. Sorry, Professor Yoga, I took your time.
No problem, no problem. Thank you very much for your questions. That we love that very much. So everybody wants to know the same questions like you have just asked. Thank you very much, Professor Rahul and Professor Yosef. Dear participants, you may allow to to propose the questions by giving us by Zoom group chat. So we will pick one of not one, but some of the very good questions, and they can be answered by our speakers here. Thank you very much. Our next speaker will be the Honorable Dr. Taufikullah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for the rector and also the committee for hosting this seminar in which hosted by the Office of in collaboration with the Faculty of Economic and Business. And I would like to say thanks to my fellow speakers, Professor Rahul and Professor Yosef. Rahul just presented some phenomenon about the digital literacy, and then Yosef just presented about the phenomenon of e-learning in Morocco during the pandemic era. And then I would like to share with you all, the presenters, the speakers, and also the audience about how is COVID-19 pandemic driving new educational paradigm in Indonesia. Yeah, this is what I'm presenting in the screen is the situation report I took from WHO on 8th of June 2020 and put our concerns that the number of people confirmed with COVID-19 cases increasing day by day. This morning, I got the data 2 days ago, and then this morning I got the new data that now it is 7 million more people in the world with confirmed COVID-19. And this is the condition of our country, Indonesia. Yeah, you know, I got the data from the COVID-19 Information Center that already 33,000, yeah. And then the total death is nearly 2,000 in Indonesia. This is the data I got yesterday on 9th of June 2020. And I still remember about the first case of coronavirus in Indonesia, that it started on the 2nd of March 2020, announced by our presidents that 2 people of Indonesia were affected by the virus days. So we started to be in, I can say, abnormal life, yeah, at the beginning of March. And before that, we were in the normal conditions. And now we are starting to have something like a new normal life. I mean, we are living normally with health protocols. Yeah, I hope that this pandemic will be over soon. Yeah. And then what happened then next? Of course, life changed. Life changed because of the pandemic here. And then, it causes multiple or domino or chain effect to many aspects of life: social, economy, education, health, and many others. Yeah. In social, our country is now enjoying a demographic bonus. You know what is demographic bonus? It is the condition in which the non-productive non-productive population is larger than non-productive population. But now, because of the pandemic and also another issue about the artificial intelligence, the occurrence of online transportation become the threat. Yeah, in one side we are enjoying demographic bonus. A lot of Indonesia is having more people in productive age than those who are not productive. Yeah, who are not in productive age, and one of the impact in social aspect of this COVID pandemic is about unemployment. A lot of factories, fire. The aspect of economy, yeah, like the rising of unemployment rate, and then also the stop of, the closures of restaurant, the closure of factories, the closure of many business sites, yeah. And then the effect of, I think the effect of pandemic on economy will be discussed later by Dr. Nopi. My focus will be the effect of the pandemic on higher education. Yeah. All right. The next, the current higher education, the instruction process of our higher education is still classroom based. Yeah. And also we have another issue about inadequate qualified teachers or lecturers. Another problem, another issue is about too many subjects to take for the student to accomplish their study. Or they, and also student safe activities are less supported, supported in campus, and then also less digital literacy. Actually, but we also have a lot of opportunities. Yeah, the first is curriculum design, which need to the needs of market. So we are now, the universities or colleges in Indonesia are implementing the curriculum so-called KKNI, curriculum based on learning outcome. The Ministry of Education and Culture has launched Campus Merdeka, or independent campus. There are four policies of independent campus issued by our Ministry of Education. One of them is that the student not only study at their department, but also they could study outside, at least for 3 semesters. So one semester they could study at the other department, and then two semester they could study outside of the campus. Many others, and also blended and learning are now being explored. So before the pandemic, many campus already, elaborating or developing a blended and online learning. Even at my campus is also, developing the two kind of learning, blended on online learning. So when this pandemic happened, then we were getting used to. But of course, there are some problems that I will discuss later, and also international relations. So one of the standard in our accreditation is that in order to be accredited, a university or a college in Indonesia, should have something like an international accreditation, and also should have foreign students. What is happening today? Shifting to new paradigm due to COVID-19 pandemic. Campus closure, of course, study at home, work from home. The students studied at home, learn at home, the lecturers, and also the staff here, they work from home. Online learning is unavoidable. A threat becomes the lifeguard today. Traditional based online learning and new management system. And these are some applications used for online learning in campus today: WhatsApp, social media, Google Classroom, Zoom, yeah, Meet, Microsoft Teams, Schoology, yeah. So it depends. So our campus doesn't have LMS, but we are still developing it. Yeah, about the implementation of online learning during the COVID pandemic. The first is for lecturers, adjustment issue due to the lacking of digital literacy. Also the student, limited access of internet condition and necessary gadget for the students. For the rich student, I think it will be no problem because they could easily access the internet connection. But those living in the countryside, yeah, it is actually not about the rich or the poor. Yeah, also about the distribution of the network, yeah, of the cellulars, yeah, from one countryside to another, from cities to countryside. It is much more different. Yeah, they can afford, they can, buy the data for internet, but the network is not quite good. Again, this is about the infrastructure of technology. Yeah, that the government should pay attention, should give more focus on fixing this kind of problems. And also another problem is about the financial problem faced by the students, so faced by the campus. What are they about the quality control? This is the campus is facing this kind of problem on how to overcome with the situation of the teaching learning process in terms of remote learning. Yeah, how to check the quality, how to control, yeah, how to make sure that whether one lecturer is doing the proper online learning, and what about their interaction, yeah, what about the quality of the learning itself. So this is put into much concern by the campus, how to manage this kind of condition, this kind of situation. And also about the financial problem for operational costs or faced by the campus is about the student protests. Some students from universities, private universities, they protest, the university to lower the tuition because they think that they do not enjoy the infrastructure, the facilities of the campus. So then they want at least maybe half of the tuition or, one third of the tuition to be returned, yeah, to support their, to help them to buy the data for internet connection or maybe other needs. What are the strategies? Of course, it is inevitable, unavoidable that remote learning by connectedness by means of technology is a must. So we cannot avoid this one. The positive side of this pandemic is, creating the awareness of the lecturers of the digital literacy, of the importance of this digital literacy. When the student cannot go to campus, yeah, when the lecturers work from home, teach at home, they have to think about how to create an effective teaching and learning method. And the only solution is only by online learning. But they have a problem with the digital literacy. And then another solution is establishing learning management system. So this is another solution, for online learning. It is quite difficult for campus to control, yeah, to evaluate and to control the teacher, the process of teaching and learning between the student and the lecturers when they use different platforms. Some are using Google Classroom, some are using WhatsApp, some are using Microsoft Teams. So the issue, may occur for this kind of phenomenon is, it's quite difficult for the university to control or evaluate here. But when they have their own LMS or learning management system, so all will be integrated. Not only the teaching and learning process, but also the assessment, the testing, or even the administrative things relating to the teaching and learning process at campus. And also the government or even the university could establish a kind of free tutorial, yeah, and online testing and assessment. These I think that's all my presentation, Dr. Yoga. Thank you very much. If you give me any questions or if you have any question or any inquiries, yeah, we will share or discuss later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Taufik, for your insightful contributions to this international webinar. We love your presentations. What I'm going to emphasize here is the problem is similar like other countries again, for human resources, financial problems, infrastructure problems, and so on. But it is very interesting for us. There are big differences between Indonesia and Morocco, in which the Minister of Education in Morocco purchased the membership of many international electronic libraries and provided them with free of charge researchers and students. I think Indonesia does not have this policy, and also in Morocco, in some areas, logistical and technical means were distributed from the government to the students, like internet, computer, tablets. And in Indonesia, it is we do it independently. University supports the needs of the students, like giving giving low rate for the giving support. I mean,
yeah, Dr. Yoga.
The fund for the students.
Dr. Yoga. Hello, Dr. Yoga. Let me give some additional information about the COVID pandemic. Like Professor Joseph, Rahul, you know, Indonesia, our country is not implementing lockdown because it will give something like how do we call a dangerous effect. You know, our population is almost 300 million people in 2020. So when the government, you know, implement lockdown, so of course it will give something like a high burden, and of course our government cannot overcome with that situation. And also it also happened with the internet connection. Yeah. So another problem may happen during the teaching and learning process in terms of remote learning faced by the student and teacher in the higher education and university or colleges. You know, the government, you know, do not provide something like a free internet access. Yeah, I mean, we fund ourselves. Yeah, but we work with, you know, some universities or some colleges, some university or some colleges get something like fund from the, I don't know, company, cellular company, CSR, you know, they got the fund, CSR, you know, CSR fund, corporate responsibility, yeah. Like Telkom, telecommunication company, Indosat, yeah. But you know, this kind of contribution, this kind of funding, yeah, this kind of donation is only given to the universities who already have learning management system, but they are not giving to those who do not have LMS. That is. Okay, thank you, Bu Yoga.
Thank you, Dr. Taufik, for your additional information. Indeed, Indonesia does not apply lockdown because I think my country will be very chaos. Okay, if Indonesia applies lockdown. Well, thank you very much. Our last speaker, the Honorable Dr. Dean Noviani, please.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Taufik, can you deliver the host to me so I can share my...
I will. Okay, I will. Hang on. Yes, I did.
Yes.
You may start.
Mr. Taufik, can you deliver the host to me so I can share my...
Okay, I will. Hang on.
Bentar. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Yoga, Mr. Taufik. First of all, allow me to express my appreciation to Ms. Yoga and the Office of Cooperation International Affairs because I was invited for guest speaker and for inviting the Faculty of Economic and Business either for work together in organizing that seminar. And thank you to, first of all, I would like to say hello to participants this time. My name is Dean Noviani. I am a lecturer and currently I am the Dean of Faculty of Economy and Business, University of Pancasakti Tegal. Today, I will talk about the problem that surround us, especially because my background is in economics. I will connect COVID-19 influence on creative economics and related with business competence in higher education. cases that occurred in Indonesia. I use a lot of data from Bappenas, the Ministry of Finance, and the basis data for the basis data of my argument of this presentation. And of course, this is to strengthen our financial literacy knowledge, especially maybe for students for learning material. Why creative economy? I believe this has become one of the alternative solutions to problem after economic slowdown and pandemic around the world. Okay. Yeah. Before starting, this is my curriculum vitae and my personal background and experience for past few years. And next, this is what happened. We know that we face empty space, empty city, everybody at home, everything closed with few exceptions. All happened because the spread of coronavirus has increased exponentially. According to World Health Organization data, there were 6,140,934 cases worldwide, and people were dead about 373,534 people were dead. Data from 2nd June 2020. If calculated COVID-19 transmission has increased with a large of amount, that is why this case has become so phenomenal. It has caused many countries to be very serious and lock in their citizens. And this is COVID-19 development Indonesia. As of 2nd June 2020, as many as 27,549 cases have been confirmed positive. And update data, 6 June 2020, Indonesia again recorded the highest addition of COVID-19 daily cases in a day. In the last 24 hours, there were 993 additional patients with positive COVID-19 records. But of course, I will not talking about increasing numbers because I'm not discussing from a medical perspective. And how does the COVID-19 pandemic affect general business sustainability? Our world today is dealing a crisis of fundamental proportion. Coronavirus is wreaking havoc across the globe. The cost of pandemics in terms of loss of human lives is painful, but the effect on global economy and on sustainable development prospect is also worrying. The domino effect on global tourism, travel, hospitality, and also closed down economic activity. This is medium enterprise activity. The pandemic has exposed fundamental weaknesses our global system. It has shown in prevalence of poverty, weak health system, lack of education, and lack of global cooperation over the crisis. Sadly, we know that the pandemic hit a time when sustainability development goals were gaining traction and significant number of countries were making a good process. The world is facing with containing the spread of virus and addressing a negative impact. This is the difference in economic crisis that occurred due to the corona pandemic in 2020, 1998, and 2008. The difference, the economic crisis that occurred due to the corona pandemic in 2020 with financial crisis, in 1998, it only happened in Asia. Starting from the exchange rate crisis in Thailand, this crisis also result of combination of economic and political problem occurring within the country. While the crisis in 2008, the compilation of world commodity price fell, the crisis affected the financial or corporate sector Indonesia. But not all countries were affected in this crisis. And now, the crisis in 2020 is existence of coronavirus pandemic that spread in almost all countries on the world. This cause of the crisis in 2020 is the impact of the virus itself, the socio-political and economic effect. Following are the assumption of macroeconomic development in Indonesia in 2020. The data come from the Finance Ministry. This is quarterly real data. There are significant difference from the pandemic, from the economic growth, inflation, exchange rate, etc. Experienced some significant decrease. Even the finance minister divided into assumption of moderate and bad economic growth. And until April 2020, economic growth was still 2.97%. And also the rupiah also weakened. And these are some of government policy related to COVID-19, national economic recovery. This policy contained in Law Number 2, 2020 concerning state financial policy and financial system stability for handling the COVID-19, which containing budget reallocation, taxation policy for business sector. As you can see here, this is the comparison of fiscal support for each country. Australia and Singapore issued the larger fiscal support. Indonesia, as you can see, is here almost the same as Saudi Arabia and France. The amount of fiscal stimulus is approximately 436.1 trillion rupiah. Policy of many countries facing COVID-19 include fiscal stimulus and monetary. We can see in here, this is done in approximately 180 countries. Among others is by refocusing the budget by raising the health and medical budget. Likewise, the monetary sector is lowering lending rate and decrease in interest rate. And this is financial literacy education in higher education, the handling of COVID-19. One solution can be taken to strengthen is economic creative. The world of higher education must already know that creative economy will become one of the most popular thing in the future. And this is a sector affected by COVID-19. As you can see, of course, the sector that heavily affect are the tourism sector and its derivative, followed by other relatively large expenditures such as real estate, and then manufacturing, and then automotive sector. Of course, people are still waiting for economic development to improve. On the other hand, the scenario looks promising for some sector, not only mention the opportunity for the health sector, with fortune being put on personnel, equipment, material, and research for vaccine development. The pharmaceutical around the world are investing a lot of to be first able to save life and profit as well. Technology sector, like we all use it, e-commerce, delivery, online shopping, teleservice like Kindle, Spotify, Netflix, and etc. Of course, for the ones still open to supply the basic for quarantine, like food support, food store, supermarket, pharmacy, logistic, and the others. And why the creative industry need to be developed? As you can see in here, Indonesia, based on the Global Creativity Index 2018, Indonesia ranks 150 from 200 countries. Indonesia is far behind neighboring Malaysia, which ranks number 3, Singapore number 9, and Philippines, Vietnam, and Thailand in order to 50 and 80. No wonder we know President Jokowi said that creative economy must be the backbone of economic in Indonesia. And creative economic, if we're talking creative economic, if we're talking about creative economic, is the concept that in the new economic era that identify information and creativity, as well as knowledge from human resource as the main production factor. This concept is supported by a system, the creative industry as real container. Indonesia, we know creative economy agency, you may know BECRAF, non-ministerial government, agency to handle development to the creative industry. The agency divided creative economy in Indonesia into 16 subsectors, and the future with development of technology in the after COVID area, the creative industry will be grown even more. And this is especially for students. This is the business competence in creative industry. Competence in the business world become the main thing. In the creative industry, experience several changes. The world of higher education must also follow fast development. In terms of human resource, some people have specialized ability and evidence-based certification. Likewise, the marketing. The use of technology and online marketing will always a way of selling that will be used in the future. In the same infrastructure sector, a lot of creative industry will be grow more. We use copyright and then intellectual property will be registered in the future. And this is a conclusion because I have just 10 minutes, right? You can have okay. This is a conclusion of my presentation. Last but not least, the conclusion that can be drawn here, the impact of COVID-19 greatly influenced on economic activity. Indonesia entered new normal because there are many changes that occur from people behavior. And higher education will produce graduates who are expected to have basic scientific knowledge about digital literacy and creativity to compete in the global era. Thank you very much, Ms. Yoga.
Thank you
And
very
it's
much.
yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dean. It's very nice presentations. And I would like to conclude maybe a short conclusion about Dr. Dean's presentations, that the point is creative economy is the backbone of the solutions for economic the slowing down economic growth. But I'm sorry, because you are from the economics department.
Okay.
Did you also include the creative economics in the subject for your students?
Yes, of course. We have entrepreneurship also as the main core of creative economic also.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dean. So we would like to know more, maybe in the future, about creative economics, especially in agricultural field, because that's very important for Indonesia. Cannot eat without rice. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have about half hour only for questions and discussions. So now
I'd be very interested to hear your comments.
I would like to select questions from Pak Swandi. Pak Swandi, are you there? Hello, sir. Swandi, Pak Swandi, are you there? Yeah, nice meeting you. I would like to. Would you please ask the questions? Dr. Swandi, should I read or you want to read your question? Oh, we cannot hear your voice. Sorry, we cannot hear.
Okay, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rahul. I have two questions to you. Maybe when you replace from traditional learning to adaptive learning in India, maybe have many the problem. Could you help me to how solve the problem for this? And in the university, you said that strategy to building digital learning in university. Maybe in university, many stakeholder to resistant or maybe refuse. Can you explain to me about how many model to solve the problem if the stakeholders refuse about your plan? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. Let me take an example of India. When India was planning to have a digital transformation in their higher education, initially, same like Indonesia, we don't have so much budget, so much money to do that. So India have tie up with certain external agencies in Australia, in US, in Netherlands, and the government opt this technology only for the elementary schools. So the schools from the rural sector get a fund from the government to implement the digital transformation in the classrooms. And then after that, after a certain time, the government have started giving an initiative to the universities to motivate and train their faculty members, and and to transfer their course curriculum into digital platform. The perfect example of that, like Indonesia is having a ranking of A, B, C in that dikti, that you are the A rank university, you are a B rank university, and C rank university. Similarly, India is having NIRF, that is a national ranking platform. So if your program is having a content of digital, if your university is having a lot of digital platform, they keep you on high on the ranking side. If your ranking is high, you give lot of freedom from the government. You can start any program without taking an approval. You can start any partnerships from international university. You don't need to take a separate approval. So the government have started this initiative to motivate private university, because in the state university, government used to give fund to use it. Like you have a lot of state university, public university, where the government is giving research fund and any fund, but for the private, there is no fund. Similarly, in India, public university is getting money from the government to change their curriculum and make their university digital. But the private university is getting incentive in terms of freedom. So if your government say, if you will want freedom, you have to do this. Now, the second question is, when the private university try to put the digital transformation in the university, the biggest challenge is, yes, people are not ready to change, because if they need to change, they are so much pain. They have to learn new things. They have to make a new design, and nobody likes change because everyone wants to be on safe and comfortable zone. So it's a challenge, yes, but the university started the same thing. If you want a promotion, or if you want to get increment in your salary, if you wanted to be, if you are associate professor, you wanted to be a professor, you should have this certain quality. If you don't have, you will not get promotion. So that is a buy and sell kind of strategy which was used. Unfortunately, it works because developing countries see the things like this. Now it's an important part. I mean, if you go to any university, if you go to, even though the small elementary school, you will see there is a digital platform there. It is now almost 99% all Indian universities are using that platform, or almost 60% schools are using it. I'm talking about the schools which is in village, not in that city. So that strategy government have used, and I'm sure, I mean, if any private university who's listening me right now in Indonesia, you can opt and you can make a policy, new policy and strategy that, okay, if you want to teach, if you want to see an increment in your salary, or if you want a promotion, something like this, you should learn these qualities. If you don't learn, okay, we will not give you. I'm so sorry, but this is the only way to do the change. Otherwise, people will not change easily. I hope I am able to answer your question. Thank you.
Dr. Suwandi, does that answer your question?
Yeah, clear. We hope your idea, Mr. Rahul, can implement in my campus, Pancasakti University in Tegal. Thank you.
So you can invite. So you can invite Rahul, Professor Rahul, for that. Am I right? Okay. Next, our next.
Dr. Yoga, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry for interrupting.
Okay.
I'm really curious. I'm really curious about the budget from the government to fund the digital technology in India in elementary school. I mean, can you please explain it so far, Rahul? I mean, how does the government, overcome or solve this problem? India has a lot of population, maybe 10 times or 9 times than Indonesians. How does the government, fund the number of maybe 1,000 schools, elementary school in India?
Okay. I mean, I request Professor Yoga to allow me to share my screen, because I know Professor Tawfiq will not convince with me until unless I show him something. So Professor Yoga, if you can allow me to be a host, I run a short video topic. It gives you an idea that how India do actually, right? So
Yeah, how India do it? That's it.
and then I'll ask Indonesian question from you, because I am also very curious how Indonesia is doing. You need to understand Indonesia and India is similar kind of country in terms of geography, very big. In terms of population, very big.
Yes.
And in
Right.
terms of academic, we are similar. Yeah, we are happy people, don't want to, easily accept the changes.
But your country is implementing implementing lockdown, right?
It is still for higher education till 15th of July. You cannot open higher education. So, okay, could you see my screen?
Yeah,
Could you see?
sure.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, I request all the people just have a look and you will understand how digital transformation happened in India. It's a story about a school in digital.
It's nice.
Bisa.
Some days.
So, Professor Tawfiq, if you can see, this is an American Indian foundation. The government of India have signed an agreement with this organization in, I think, 2003 to support almost more than 1,000 schools in the village. And with the help of this funding, 50% funding is from the government side, 15% funding from their side. They start digitalize the schools. I give you another example, which if the time permits, I show you one of my presentation which I give it on digital gap. I'll make a quick and I'll tell you what are the 3 programs India is running right now to for the schools and all. It is there. So this is basically India. In right hand side you can see it's a rural part of India and this is urban part of India. This is a total digital divide of India. Rural population is 66% and urban population is 34%. This is the all rural divides. This is how the classrooms are basically looking. Not this one. Give me a moment. There are certain programs run by not this one. Okay, there is one platform I tell you is called Digital India. Okay, leave it. I don't want to waste. There's a one program called Digital India run by the government, which is 100% funded by the government, and that fund is goes to only for the schools. The actual figure you can, get it from Google. So that shows that the Indian government are very serious while they are implementing the digital things, but they are serious more about schools and the university. They give us slightly freedom, but you will not get any support from the government if your university is not digitalized. So that's a simple policy. We call it is they show you the stick and say that if you don't work, you will not do that. So that's policy Indian government used from 2003. Now we reached to that level in the span of 10 years, where our almost 60% of schools are digitalized, and almost 90, more than 90% of institutions are digitalized. So that, I think, where Indonesia can learn or the government can implement. I suggest you can start with your university. I love to help you on that, how to train your faculty member on different digital platform, which you ask while your presentation, that the faculty members are not very, perfect knowledge about the different digital platform. This is the answer of your question. And if you permit, I have a question about Indonesia.
Mr. Rahul,
yeah.
if I can, I
Yeah.
excuse for this interaction, but if you can share with us your support, maybe we can learn more about the Indian experience of e-learning. Maybe you can share your support after.
Absolutely. I was fortunate enough to have a first friend in Morocco. It's my what should I say, hard luck. I never been into Morocco.
Maybe we have the same experience of India here in Morocco in future. We like to have the same experience.
Yeah, so I'll happy because now I spent 15 years in different platform in higher education. Not only the ICT involvement, that is information, communication, and technology involvement in higher education. I'm also have a good experience on e-learning mode and how to have a learning outcome through e-learning mode. So I love to share my experience and expertise with all of you, and we can jointly do something which is good for not only for our student, it is good for our country also.
Yes,
you need to understand, the world is changed now. After COVID, don't expect the world is going to be the same. There was a chance when university and the world want to be globalized, right? People wants to have globalized. Now you can see that the world is deglobalized. People don't like other people to come in their country. We don't like to talk to our neighbor because we are afraid to have a disease. So that means
this is the big effect of this pandemic.
Yeah, the IR policy of the country is changing. If the international policies of the countries are changing, that means the higher education policy will also change. That means it will affect the internationalization and internationalization strategies in the country. The student will not go to US and UK for study. They love to be in their country and have a virtual classroom. Yeah. So it's another debate actually. But as being an educationist, we have a very open eyes what is happening and what is going to happen in coming 2 or 3 years, so that we can change ourselves right now. That's the only input I have.
Professor Rahul, see, from your video, it's almost the same as Indonesia. How the government overcome this technological problem, especially for areas that are not reached by technology.
Yeah, that's why the government have people like us to support each other, and government cannot help. Yusuf is agree with me that Morocco is not like Indonesia and India, like big and so much population. Yeah, India is full of population. Almost in 2025, we are going to be the first in world, which is not a very proud. So it's very hard. The government have that much of money to spend on everyone. Yeah, so that's the only support. Like the people should support each other to grow. Otherwise, if we are looking for government only, we will not grow. That's what we learn. Indonesia and India people have to learn that don't see every time to the government for the change. You do the change and tell the government that this is what is required.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, because of the time limitations, I would like to select one more question from.
All right, Rahul, thank you very much. I give the others. Yeah.
Yes, but Dr. Tawfiq, please. Wait, I would like to select one only the questions coming from Ibu Yufita, if Ibu Yufita is here. But if she's not here, I will change to the other to another person. I think she doesn't. She's not here. Okay. So we go to Ibu Yanti. Hello, Ibu Yanti. Hello, Ibu Yanti.
Yeah, hello.
So please, would you please ask the questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Raul, I agree with your opinion about we should deliver digital literacy until artificial intelligence in the middle of complicated process. And to reach the success of digital literacy, we need to prepare the infrastructure, optimal tools, and technology. But in other hand, there are 9 top universities like Harvard and Hong Kong, others offering free online course. The question is, how should we do facing this situation in order to make a competitive advantage of our own university?
It's good to see that you asked the Howard question here. I mean, if I'm correct, couple of week back, I was reading an article from the president of Howard University that he was saying because of this COVID-19, they have, I think, $100 million loss in a span of only 3 or 4 months, which I'm sure that 100 million is enough to have a new university in India and Indonesia. I'm talking about dollars. So you need to understand, they are a developed country, first of all, right? They have money. So they have money, they are using this money to brand themselves. So to branding themselves, they started with free online course. Like Coursera is offering free online course. So what happened? If I enrolled any course in Harvard free, they give you only a basic idea about the program, right? And after I learn the basic program, I feel like that, oh wow, it's a very good program and I'm learning very good. And I have a degree from Harvard or a certificate from Harvard. Later on, they will say that, okay, if you want an extended program, you need to pay fees, right?
Yeah.
So it's a marketing and branding strategy, which I'm sure that the people from business school can understand how it works. Yeah. The question which Tawfiq also asked that, I mean, the Indonesian university, how they can do when they don't have money to transform. So parents are losing job. They don't have money to pay the fees. They are saying, we are not coming campus. Why should we pay 100%? We will pay only 50% of fees. Here the strategy comes. The Indonesian university need to design a strategy for 2 types of student. One, okay, you pay 50%, you will take online classes, you don't need to, we will not give you some extra services like, if you are looking for a virtual student mobility in suppose US, while you are sitting in your room, but you are attending classes in US university, or you will not get on a platform where you will teach by the international professor. If you need this service, you need to pay 100%. If you don't need this service, pay 50%. Simple policy, and I'm sure that then student will start paying 100% to all university because they will understand that they are getting something extra in their course, like international involvement, international project, international internship, while they are sitting in their bedroom. So that's minimize the gap which universities are facing because of COVID-19 financial loss, and it will help you to organize more online program on that sense. I hope, Professor Yanti, I am able to answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rahul. I would like to invite one more person. That is the Dean of School Education of Pancasakti University. Dr. Purwo, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Hello. Okay.
you. I will clap one answer, Mr. Rahul and Mr. Joseph. COVID-19 pandemic give us consciousness. The science education is important to improve our literacy for. So the question is, what your country have science education for, I think, national education, science education in Morocco. Our in Indonesia we have science standard. So I'm to good standard for science education. And then question for Mr. Rahul about the how in the implementation for adaptive learning on the school in India. What is the
Purvo, your voice is breaking, not able to understand your question. If I'm the only one who is struggling, or
right,
your voice is breaking, Pa.
We can't hear you. You can repeat the question before.
Yeah, because not very clear.
From the first, yeah. Yes,
the first, okay. Right. The first question, science educational standard. The science education important.
Professor Yoga, could you help me to understand the question? Because our internet is not good, I think.
If maybe you can write it in the comments. It's better than this.
Because the internet is a problem.
Oh, the problem, right. Okay, you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear me, Rahul? Mr. Rahul?
Your voice is breaking, I think. There is some internet problem.
Yes, it's the same problem, yes. You can write it in the comments, it's better.
Or either Professor Yoga can tell us the question.
Okay, Dr. Pura, would you please write down in the chat comments, please, to clarify?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Because we have a limitations, time limitation. So
okay.
Thank you very much. And we are now invite Ibu Yuvita, the last one. Which one is Ibu Yuvita? Could you please? That's the questions goes to Professor Joseph. Hello, Ibu Yuvita.
Yes.
Okay.
Ibu Yoga, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Would you please?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to ask you a question. Vakil.
Yes.
It is very interesting. Do you read and write the lesson have to those who have next? Yeah. Is it clear? Hello.
It's not clear, but I read your question in the comments. You write it before, I think. Okay. Yes, it's it's a very important question, and I like it. But actually, we can talk about the effectiveness, especially in this world health situation of COVID-19, for two reasons. We are in a special situation, and we need to solve the problem and save the education. The second reason is it the only solution of those they don't have internet or the technical resources?
Bunda, kenapa nggak kedengeran? Joseph. Okay.
I think you cut my mic, so I should repeat my answer, I think.
You cut. Could you please repeat?
Now you hear me. You hear me now?
Sure. Please.
Okay. I thank you for your question. It's a very important question. I like it. Actually, we can talk about the effectiveness, especially in this health world situation, for two reasons. We need just to solve the problem and save the education. And the second reason, it is the only solution for now. And the government do all her best to touch all levels of education just to achieve the success of this experience. That's it. Thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay,
Yeah.
does that answer your question?
Miss Yoga.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Miss
have
Yoga.
another question for this one, since one of the big problem for all around the world, the lack of right. I think that TV and radio, but whether it is effective or not, yeah, really appreciate for your efforts, Prof. Is it fair that the government other kinds of to help students internet access in their homes?
Thank you, Yuvita. Dr. Topika, you want to say something? Because time is,
we run out of time.
We're going to close very soon.
Professor Yusuf, will you allow me to answer this question, because it's really interesting question. It is happening all over the world.
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
going to add
Okay,
question
Prof.
to
Ibu Yuvita.
Yourself, yeah. Hello.
Ibu.
I'm going to
Your
I'm going
question.
to ask question.
Okay.
Ibu Yoga.
Yeah. Dr. Taufik, Professor Rahul will answer the questions from Ibu Yuvita. Would you please just mute your...
There is a noise in your
Complete the
voice.
question. So, yeah, sorry. I just want to complete the question of Bu Yuvita to Yosef Pakil. Yeah. Rahul told me so far about what is going on about the e-learning in India, especially to I would like to know about the phenomenon happening in Morocco. Like what Rahul told me, that in India, I mean, the government gave something like easy access for elementary school, especially in the countrysides. I mean, to run the online learning. Or I could see from the video, it is about the digital equalizer, yeah. But I would like to know about what is happening in Morocco, relating to what is happening in India today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Taufik. I think Professor Rahul, are you going to say something? Seems that you're going to convey one thing, but very short, okay? Because time running, we run out of time. Thank you.
I'll give an answer of Professor Yuvita first. Ibu, the question you ask is that whether this radio and television things which is happening right now in Indonesia and other part of the world. So the answer is that is a temporary solution, right? The
Yes,
radio and television cannot have a two-way communication. So you cannot teach student while like singing a song. Nobody is talking and just listening. Your student will not learn like this. This is a temporary things which is going to have a huge impact on learning outcomes. So I don't recommend it, and I don't prefer this way, although we don't have any other option. But still, I believe it's better to send the course material through courier. Student read it, write it, and send it back to the professor rather than doing on radio or television. That's my answer on that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
that's
you.
it. I told her that's the only solution now for this problem. We need just to solve the problem. We can't talk about the effectiveness now. Maybe in another condition we talk about the effectiveness, but now we can't.
Oh, thank you. So, Professor Yosef is not unable yet to talk about the effectiveness, but perhaps in the future he will.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I hope that. Maybe if Rahul share with you the Indian experience in e-learning, we can learn more about that.
I love you, Yusuf.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We love you both. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
So
So
before I finish the international
webinar,
webinar,
I would like to share the for those who participate in this international webinar, would you please write the feedback, and you will get certificate after that. But you must write the feedback first, and then after you write your name correctly and also the title that you need, and that's automatically you will have the certificate. So without feedback, you cannot get the certificate. So you can see the link from the screen. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have to come to end the international webinar. Thank you very much and highly appreciate to our honorable guest speakers for their fruitful contributions to this event. We do hope this momentous event will be a good start for the future of education. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have to come to the end of the agenda. Thank you very much for your cooperating and attentive listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.